Well, I would be glad to announce that our next keynote is on importance of data maturity in the gaming industry. So I would now like to invite Mr. Ankit Gupta, who is the head apps partnerships, online partnerships group, India, Google Gaming, and I would like to invite him to share his thoughts about importance of data maturity in the gaming industry. May I have you on stage, sir? Mr. Ankit Gupta, if he's there. Okay, he's there. Okay. All right.
Thank you. It's great to be here today, and I want to talk about importance of data maturity in the gaming industry, which is, I think, very, very important, crucial to make sure that you are a successful business. I am Ankit. I head the apps and gaming partnerships business for Google India. So we all know gaming is big, right? That's why we are all here. We all understand that it attracts so many users. Mr. Shubh earlier talked about the number of users which are there in India. Depending on the source which you take, there are like 400 to 500 million gamers in India spending tremendous amount of time on gaming, which can be compared with some of the mature traditional gaming markets, right? But how did we reach here? How gaming industry evolved? I think it is important to see that how did we reach here, and for that it is good to reflect that how the gaming industry evolved globally, right? So if you see US and Japan, which were pioneers in computational technologies and graphics technologies, that is where in 80s the video gaming industry started, right? And the Western markets where there were a lot of gaming players, that fueled the whole ecosystem of gaming, which established big publishing houses which were investing in building these games, high quality games, which they were export to global users, right? On the other hand, China was a closed market where these games were not able to penetrate. These publishers, the local publishers there, saw an opportunity to just copy the successful models from outside and make it available for local gamers. That is how the whole industry got funded there, and then they found an opportunity to then export their games to the global users, especially US, India, and other big markets. Now, while India is a very different story, right? Because when Indians were getting more infrastructure access to games, whether it is PC, console, or mobile, India market was very open, and all the new gamers who were just experiencing gaming could easily access to these international games, which was easy for them, where no localization was required for these genres. It was very easy for them to access these internationally developed games. So Indian developers found, while some Indian developers were focusing on export markets, a lot of Indian developers found niche in India where there was a lot of localization required, customization or local language adoption was required, or local laws were required to be met. That is where a lot of Indian developers found growth opportunity. But the interesting phenomena which we are seeing in last few years, that Indian gamers are evolving faster than Indian publishers, right? Indian developers are demanding high quality games and nothing less, right? They want world quality games. Everyone wants to play the big titles and not restrict themselves to just Indian developers. So, and I think Mr. Shubh earlier also talked about how complex this industry has become. There are like PC games, console games, while mobile gaming is also very, very complex. There are HTML5 games and real money gaming, non-real money gaming, casual gaming, free to play, etc. Though India is now seeing this as a legitimate source of entertainment, it is crossing a lot of borders, right? Like the age barriers or the gender barriers. A lot of Indians of different genders and different age groups are playing games. It is still very, very difficult to see that in spite of all this growth, India is just contributes to 1% of the global gaming industry, right? And the main reason is that while gaming is like a global industry, it creates a lot of threat also for Indian publishers to grow because of availability of easy access to all these games. While these global publishers have a lot of resources to become and deep pockets to have sophisticated resources, sophisticated data processes or data analytics solutions, they are able to invest in sophisticated mechanisms to calculate how they want to acquire users and how they want to monetize. Like, but creativity can come from anywhere, right? So how do we compete with this market? There's one ally which we can use is data analytics, and that is what I'm going to talk about today, that what is the importance of data analytics and the key North Star metric which you should all keep in mind, which is the lifetime value of the user, right? This LTV or lifetime value of the user is very, very crucial, which all types of gaming publishers should focus on, because that is going to, like, 3 reasons why you should focus on them. First is you want to acquire the right users. There are so many gamers out there, but what kind of gamers would be suitable for your game where you can extract the most value is very, very important. You need to segment your users, and obviously the Pareto principle applies here, that only 20% of your users would be giving 80% of the value to you. So make sure that you understand the lifetime value and you are able to segment your users and understand which are the right users you want to acquire, because the acquisition costs are also rising for these gamers. The second is power of experiment, right? As a gaming publisher, you would want to experiment that which games are working, what features are working. If you have the right infrastructure in place, you would be able to easily understand that which experiments are working fine and which experiments are failing. So it is, I would say it is very, very crucial to have good control and infrastructure of your calculating lifetime value of your user, so that you can experiment easily and fail fast to see what is working. And thirdly is raising funds. If you want to raise funds as a publisher, I think it is very crucial to have good control of your data analytics tools, and especially LTV, so that investors can then invest in your game. So the idea is don't fly blind, see through the foggy sky using the power of data analytics. Invest, this is an area where I see traditionally Indian developers don't invest. So please be conscious that you are building that infrastructure, nurturing that talent in your companies to invest in data analytics. Few misnomers or things which you need to keep in mind while you are calculating LTV. The first one is the LTV needs to be calculated through all types of monetization sources. So whether it is ad monetization or in-app purchases or any kind of sponsorship affiliation which you are using. So it needs to be overall calculated through all the revenue sources. It is also important because it is a global industry, you will have different revenue sources playing in different industries, right? So if you're targeting US users, maybe in-app purchases would be higher, whereas in India, you would see ad revenue being higher, right? So it is important that you are calculating LTV as a North Star metric, including all types of ad revenue sources. The second thing is LTV is not equal to ARPU, right? So ARPU is average revenue per user. They are not equal. A lot of people misconceive that ARPU is equal to LTV. ARPU is your current value which you are driving now from your users, whereas LTV includes both current and future value. So keep that in mind. ARPU divided by retention would give you LTV. So it is very important that you consider the future value of your users as well when you are acquiring these users. And this is important because market is very competitive, right? So there are thin margins on which bigger publishers are playing. If you are not careful while calculating the right value of your users, you might lose out. So that's why it is very important. That lastly, it is important to calculate LTV because you would want to segment your users and give them different experience, right? So if you know that this user is higher LTV on ads, you would want to give them a different experience as compared to IAP heavy user. So it is very important that you are able to segment your users according to their lifetime value and give them different experience so that they can be retained more. Yeah, so this is like my wish that we see more mid-core and hardcore games coming out of India, which can differentiate themselves in the global market, right? So build high quality games which can stand in ranks in global market, which can be done. You can be more competitive by investing in data solutions, building the right infrastructure to support your games, and experiment. As much you experiment, that would make it easier for you to remove redundancies, remove inefficiencies from your games, and capture the right value from your users. Yeah, that's it. Thank you from me, and thank you for attention.